Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the current state of establishment politics. No, it's not just endemic on one side. It is one of those things that is a bipartisan effort, and in fact, in the current day, one of the very few bipartisan issues is the conduct and the control that the establishment types in both parties have. And we focused quite a bit on what the problem with the Democratic side of the aisle is. Let's take a look at this seemingly innocuous tweet from the GOP account. What it says here: every single American should be outraged by big tech's clear bias in when and who they censor. They are setting a dangerous precedent. Sent May 8th, 2021. What fucking joke that is. Oh my god, it's like these people don't have the perfect martyr. They don't have the perfect platform to stand on, okay? You'd push this type of censorship. I'd imagine there's probably a similar post on their Facebook page, or maybe they're selling t-shirts with this exact same slogan on it on one of their their Shopify account. They had somebody with a very eloquent speaking tone read it out for their Spotify page. For you to be so brain dead, to be so out of touch, to put this statement right here on Twitter, try to fundraise off of this message right here. It just shows the clear bias, or rather the absolute out of touch nature of the establishment GOP. Okay? And you guys know who runs the GOP. Who is the chairwoman of the GOP? Romney McDaniel. You remember, that's Mitt's little girl right there. Cousin or niece, not daughter, but you know where she stands. You know what she's all about. They've been making these little dumb statements, but this one was reposted and just had to comment on it because it just went perfectly into the who's who of RINOs right now that are running around out in the wild. And to start with one, okay, because we got 1.5 in that picture there, okay? So sometimes Graham's on his fucking freedom-loving, flag-waving, Potomac-crossing, tri-cornered hat-having patriotism rant where he's just fucking all guns blazing, and other days he's on all fours just waiting for a big fucking rhino pegging. Like, I don't want to call Lindsey Graham a full-blown rhino. It's one of those things where I don't know if there's a better politician in Washington right now. Let me explain that one. The guy always seems to find himself on the winning side of Republican issues. Let me explain that one further. Okay? He always seems to be on the popular side of what the party is pushing, okay? Not necessarily the right, not necessarily what the electorate wants, but it's where the party itself at large is voting. He's a pretty good bellwether as to what the undercurrent of the party is all about. And where he goes, that's where you can judge the general consensus of the GOP is going. He's never going to be a leader. He's never going to be anything more than the second or third maybe in charge in the Senate. He's not the face of any political movement, and the only time that you'd see him as the face of anything would be on the other side of a glory hole. Like, the guy doesn't radiate charisma, nor does he inspire confidence in anyone. And then you got the guy just lurking right behind him in the picture right there. You got Bill Cassidy, who made himself known as a prominent rhino when he was voting twice for going forward with the impeachment and then also siding with fellow rhinos after the second sham impeachment. He was mum on the first one, but the second one, that was too much for him. Like, you can see him conniving back there. How can I be the second coming of Mitt Romney with none of the name recognition, with none of the loyalty from a religious movement, and possibly churn out just as much hate? Well, he's on one hell of a good path right now. And like I was saying earlier, Lindsey Graham, he was on one of his patriotic moments there, saying that the GOP can't move forward without the message of Trump. They can't grow without Trump. Bill Cassidy, no, he had a spot on MSNBC, and he needed to make sure that everybody, all 14 or 15 geriatrics who tune in to meet the press, heard that message loud and clear that no, there's like 25% of Republicans that side with our message, okay? Whew. My, what an overwhelming minority. Bill Cassidy, Republican, sort of, from Louisiana, is one of those things, right, where how can you have such an absolute based state and then turn out a senator just like that? And then on the opposite side, you had the senior senator as Kennedy, who couldn't be more of a polar opposite of Cassidy. Actually, it's just the same of what's happening in Utah, because you got Romney and then you got Mike Lee on the other side. But it's weird how the parallels can be drawn. On Sunday, pushed back on Senator Lindsey Graham's remarks last week declaring that the Republican Party can't move forward without President Donald Trump, amid House Republicans threatening to oust Liz Cheney. Oh yeah, that bitch is fucking gone. She is so gone. For her vehement criticism of the former president. Appearing on MSNBC's Meet the Press, Cassidy asked about Graham's remarks to the Fox News' Sean Hannity last week. After saying that he has always liked Cheney, Graham painted the third-ranking Republican as a major obstacle to the GOP heading into next year's midterm elections. Yes, and the primaries too. After she has repeatedly bucked Trump on the election fraud falsehoods. Oh no, and many other things as well. Let's just not fucking paint it as this one issue thing, okay? She wouldn't be losing her spot if it was only because integrity. Let's make that obvious and clear. I've always liked Cheney. This is what Graham said. But she's made a determination that the Republican Party can't grow without President Trump. I've determined that we can't grow without him. Cassidy replied by first bragging about Trump's administration policies and arguing that some Republicans still see the former president as the messenger of them. Yeah, I don't know. This is one of those weird times in history where there's a clear and obvious opposition leader right now, and these 10 or 15 RINOs right now think that they control the party. It's fucking absurd because they'd have this strange opportunity of 3 uninterrupted years, of just galvanizing a movement in order to steamroll the midterms and then 2024. It's fucking odd. Cassidy, who is one of the handful of Republicans to vote for impeachment and also going forward with the impeachment for the incitement of insurrection earlier this year that has summarily fallen apart like a wicker chair after accommodating Stacey Abrams, on to refute Graham's idea the GOP can't move forward without the former president. Oh, he's going to get into some numbers? If you look at the poll, there's a whole group of folks that agree with Liz Cheney, and so for us to win in 2022 and 2024, we need everybody. No, you just need to oust that fucking tiny minority, by the way. And like I said, it's 25% that agree with them, okay? And those are the same people who are going to be voting red no matter what. They aren't going to be the ones to cross the aisle and vote for Democrats. So if you pander to that shrinking violet minority, all of those Puritans out there that, oh, we don't like the mean tweets, but at the same time are just going to fucking willingly forego any disposable income to side with a radical Democratic Party, I don't get this one. I don't get it. Bill, I think you're reading the room wrong. That wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last. Now, ultimately, it's about our policies. You see that Cheney, Cassidy support those policies. Those policies are our ticket to victory, Cassidy said. Why would he talk about himself in third person? It's fucking weird. And I think those policies will bring us back in 2022. You, my friend, are retarded. Kinzinger. Sorry, my bad. Me fucking beta bitch. We'll just go ahead and call him that. The Republican Party is basically the Titanic in the middle of this slow sink. What? Where do you get your numbers from? I don't get it, okay? GOP representative GOP compared his political party to a doomed ship on the Titanic in light of a feud between former President Trump and House Conference Chair Liz Cheney, who is getting the boot next week. There's no support for him left. What are we doing here? But of course, he had to once again put on the face of being a moderate or somebody that Democrats can find appealing. Remind them of the good old days of the one party or the two-party duopoly where there's no differentiation between the two parties. And he was on. Unlike Bill Cassidy. He's a senator after all. He gets a more prestigious show. He has to go on CBS's Face the Nation. A difference without a distinction. The reality is, as a party, we have to have an internal look and a full accounting of what has led to January 6th. Keep on fucking banging that drum, you idiot. Right now is basically Titanic. We're like, in the middle of this slow sink. Now, it's just you, pal. Okay? Everybody that you get behind, like the one candidate that both you and Cheney endorsed in the Texas runoff for the special election there, that garnered 2,500 votes. Yeah, I think that's the slow sink. But Again, you know, hey, if you want to go ahead and try to spin it some other way, be my guest. It's not going to work for you. We have a band playing on the deck telling everybody it's fine. And meanwhile, as I've said, you know, Donald Trump's running around trying to find women's clothing and get on the lifeboat, and get on the first lifeboat. Switch your party registration, pal. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what you have to say. You are so wholeheartedly irrelevant. Once you get voted out, you're not going to be getting any more speaking gigs. This is just pure projection, okay? Your approval rating is through the floor. You've already been censured by the Illinois GOP. Like, you have nothing left. You're just riding out your term. If you wanted to go out on your shield, you would fucking resign and give some kind of a Jake or Jeff Flake-esque speech about how the party has just changed and doesn't reflect my values. But you don't. You're just going to continue to bitch. You're just going to capitalize on your different media appearances that you can get. And who knows, maybe somebody will be dumb enough to hire you. Not fucking likely, though. There's plenty of people behind you that'll just knife you in the back on the way out. I'm sure Liz is probably setting herself up for, I don't know, some kind of a permanent stay on The View. Who knows? And like I said, yeah, McCarthy backs ousting Cheney from leadership, supports Stefanik. Yeah, it's a fucking done deal. I don't like Elise Stefanik. Released a video detailing every problem that I have of hers. But yeah, it's a foregone conclusion, rather. Just showing you that these idiots who think that, the party needs to distance themselves from Trump. The only reason that Elise Stefanik is going to be taken over, and not somebody like Madison Cawthorn or Jim Jordan, is because Trump was told to endorse a Stefanik, okay? She would have been just sitting on the back bench, whatever committee she's a part of. She would have just wrote out her term, eventually just started to garner some more goodwill, raise her name value, and then potentially work herself up from there. But no, she got the rocket strapped to her back, she got the Trump endorsement, and she's going to be the number 3 GOPer going forward. We'll see how that ends up. I'm not terribly optimistic, but lately she's been turning it around. Let's see if she's going to be more like a Mitch McConnell type or if she's going to be a Lindsey Graham type, because I think that's probably the two options. Because Kevin McCarthy, he's one of those that are more like the Lindsey Graham types. He's the guy who went down there, he met with Trump at Mar-a-Lago, he knows, he gets it, he knows where the fucking party's going. He gave Cheney the time to rectify her stupid positions, and I guess that recording that was leaked on the hot mic of McCarthy, saying that he's tired of her shit, he was a little bit more reserved, of course. Ended up being true. This was on Maria Bartiromo's show this morning, or yesterday. That would have been this morning, yes. Bartiromo asked, is this just her ideology that she's unable to get over being never Trump? In regards to Liz Cheney. McCarthy said, no, any member can take whatever position they believe in. That's what the voters vote on the individuals, and they make that decision. What we are talking about, it's a position in leadership. We are in one of the biggest battles ever for this nation and the direction of whether this country will be ours. As conference chair, you have the most critical jobs of the messenger going forward. Bartiromo asked, do you support Elise Stefanik for that job? McCarthy responded, yes, I do. Expect the vote on Wednesday now. I was a little inquisitive as to whether or not that would be happening, but it, yeah, definitely looks like that's going to be the case. So pack your shit and fuck off. And speaking of people who should probably just fuck off, Mike Pence is going to be going and doing a fundraiser, and this is going to end as spectacularly as Nikki Haley, and I pray for another Mitt Romney run in 2024. I just want to see the debates on stage and Trump just absolutely fucking light these guys up. And at the same time, if he's doing this and he's going to be running, I don't know what that means for the old ticket of Trump-Pence for 2024, but I couldn't be happier because I've been one of those guys who's been very critical of Pence, okay? I've seen him when the ticket first emerged in 2016. It's like, this is a little bit fucking weird. I don't know anything about this Mike Pence guy, but everything that I see, he seems like a bit of a neocon. But mostly behind the scenes, yeah, he didn't really do much except for orchestrate the really fucked up situation with Michael Flynn, and then also the arrest and extradition to the United Kingdom of Julian Assange. He is not the friend of populism. He just wears the glossy white coat of paint on his head of populism. So let's see what the Daily Mail has on this. Mike Pence fuels speculation of 2024 run as he will headline in June a $100 per person GOP fundraiser in first primary state of New Hampshire. Okay, the Hillsborough County GOP annual Lincoln Reagan fundraiser. Ugh. Could that be a more boomer fundraiser? Oh my god. And dinner boasts Pence as the main event. Woo! Imagine this place will probably fucking sell out, you know? Man, with a guest list like that, you pay for the whole seat, but you're only going to need the edge. Regular tickets are $100 per person, but you can buy a VIP reception ticket for $250, which includes a photo with the former vice president. They have forearm. That's funny. The location of this event is not insignificant, as New Hampshire has for the last century held the first primary race for the White House after Iowa hosts its caucuses. Caucuses. Pence has been fueling speculation more often recently that he could seek a bid for the White House after maintaining in the DC metro area after leaving office and slowly re-entering the public eye. Yeah, with the Heritage Foundation gig, which I think is probably a good place for him. Just stick in one of those fucking think tanks and we'll ask for your opinion when we need it, pal, and just stay silent and do your neo-conning in the background. That's fine. So yeah, that's the current state of rhinos. They're becoming more and more extinct. It's a fucking great thing, except for the people who are currently in power right now, especially Ronna McDaniel at the fucking GOP, having the absolute fucking nuts to tweet that out about, oh, we need to fight censorship. Okay, thanks. What is this, fucking 2014, you dumb cunt? Happy Mother's Day. With that said, we got to talk about the other side of the aisle, because there are just as many stupid people over there, and the one potential I don't know how to properly characterize this person. They say that they're a Republican, but who fucking really knows? Thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.